So hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I think you all are doing good and your family is also doing good. So we are back with our another video where we are going to understand the topic of this REST API. Like what is the REST API and how in Spring we can implement the REST API. Only the theory parts we will do. In upcoming video we will understand the practical part also. So this video is the main motive that if the interviewer will ask about that what is the REST API and how can we implement that REST API in the Spring Boot using Spring Boot. So then this is the video for you. So without further wasting any time, let's deep dive into the video. And if you are new to my channel, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you like the video, please like that and also comment if you have any doubts. So let's begin this video.
So we are on a computer screen, and before understanding the REST API, we need to understand like what is API exactly. So the API is nothing but it's a application programming interface, and generally it's help to interact between one program to another program. I'll give you one example. Like suppose um, we have an applications A and there is applications B. Application A uh, has written in Java and application B has written in Python. So if Java applications need some data from the Python applications, then how can we do? So then the communication between the interaction between the application A to the application B, the API comes into the pictures. Then the API, API generally is this is known exactly what is API. Okay. Now REST API. Now understand what is REST API. We understood like what is API. Now REST API is general. It means that representational state application, state transfer applications, programming interface. Okay, it's a part of API. So generally, the REST API come interact with the applications with the help of the HTTP methods. Okay, you can see here like server over HTTP methods. Now we need to understand what is resource, what is HTTP methods, what is statelessness, and what is representations. Okay, the resource means that it's a URL. URL. URL is a part of URI. URI means that uniform resource identifier, means that we can say that it's a address to tell to the machines that where is actual my applications or where I need to perform some task. Okay, suppose we are a client, okay, and there is a server. Okay, so if we send some information to the server, then how can the machine know that this is the actual server where this request need to come? So that is done by the help of URI, means that URL. Okay, and URL is a you can see like URL is a consists like there is HTTP, there is host, there is port, there is resource, and this is the parameters. HTTP, as we are using REST API, then we are using the HTTP methods. There is a host. Host is nothing but the IP address. In if you understand, if you are studying networking, then you understand the IP address and also the what is the host. And there is a port that on which port actual it's working. Okay, running the application on which port is running. Okay, there are some default port numbers which define like some Spring Boot have a 8082, I think, and the SQL server runs on the 3036, I guess. And this is the path, means that path is defined by R itself. Okay, it's defined by R itself. Okay, and there is a query parameters. Parameters means that some data we are passing from client to server. Okay, this is the parameters. So we understood like what is actually URL, okay, and how URL structure. Now need to understand what is HTTP methods. HTTP methods is there are consist generally four types generally it's using: get, post, put, delete. Get means to watch some data or to retrieve some data. Post means to create, means if you are creating any account, so then there is a means that there is a post method HTTP method is using. And if we are using put means that we are updating, we are doing changes in the existing data. Like if we are updating our password, so then there is put is working. Then delete, if you are delete an account, so then the delete method is is using in the REST API. Okay. Now statelessness means that each request from a client contains all the informations. The server need to fulfill that request, means that whatever data we need to send from the client to the server, then there has to be a sufficient data. Then the server can send back the response that hey, I found that I found your data that you want, and get back to the client. Okay, now representations. Now coming, like how the datas come from, if the client is sending some data from client to server, then how can we do that using the different formats like JSON or XML. Okay, JSON, in next video we will understand what is JSON and the difference between JSON and XML. Okay, URI, I've already told you that what is URI. Okay, now we understood what is REST API. We understood what is API. We understood like the how the URI we can form. Okay, and what is the URL? URL is a part of URI. Okay, now we need to understand like how can we connection, establish or create REST API in Spring Boot. Okay, so this is done by this is the flow is usually the flow is like client request sends a request. Okay, then dispatcher servlet receive, then dispatcher servlet send that request to the particular controller. That controller connects with the service, and that service with connect with the DAO, means data access object, or we can say like it's a we are using Hibernate, data JPA. Okay, and that is connected with the database, and this will, if we want some data, then the database will get back to the DAO, then DAO will response back to the service, then the service response back to the controller, then service controller with response back to the dispatcher servlet, and the dispatcher servlet send to the client. This is how the rest this is how the REST API works in Spring Boot with the help of HTTP methods. HTTP methods is what? HTTP methods is get, post, delete, put. This is the HTTP methods. So we understood like how we can implement inside the Spring Boot REST API. So this is the actual flow that how the REST API works in Spring Boot, and we will understand like in next video that how can we implement a REST API using Spring Boot in practical way. Okay, So since the video is almost long, so we are just keeping shots because it's for the interview purpose. So if you have any doubts, comment. I try to solve that doubts, and hope you have no doubts after I have already covered all the topics related to the REST API and the how can we create a flow inside the Spring Boot. Okay, so this is everything. So hope you understand. And if you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button. And if you like the video, please like that video, and especially subscribe to my YouTube channel. So let's meet in the next video. Thank you.